Howdy folks, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. Today I am looking at some, they're called Mexican sour gherkins. Some call them sour gherkins and a lot of different names for them, but they're actually in the cucumber family. And they are a little bit sour, but they definitely taste like cucumber. And today I am picking some to pickle. So I'm actually making this video because a lot of people asked about it. So I had 4 plants down in here and you can see how it's grown up, and I probably sold maybe 20 pounds of them already, and they are just about done. I'm picking off the last couple here. That's about the size of them, and you can see down here on the ground, because I'm not harvesting from the ground, a lot of them are down there, they're just falling off at this point. So one of the first things we are going to do is figure out our brine percentage. And for cucumbers, I'm going to go on the lower end of 3.5%. Higher end would have a saltier taste. So then up on the top, and by the way, the URL is right here. I'll include that in the show notes as well. So there's a brine calculator. So we go 3.5%. I want to do 4 cups of water. And my salt unit is going to be in grams. So I need 33.6 grams. So you can do ounces, pounds, you can mix it up how you want. I am doing 2 quarts of pickles, and I know that 1 quart of water will be plenty enough with the pickles that are in there. Then we have 4 cups of water in here. We have our scale. It is set up for grams. We are using Redmond's real salt. You don't want one with iodine. You can use Himalayan salt, pink salt, a number of different things. Just don't use it with Himalayan. And we are going to go up to, I'm going to say 33.6, that general area. I'll move a little bit, 36.5. Wasn't watching what I was doing. So this will be a little bit saltier than I want, but I'm just going to go ahead and mix that in here, start in, and then I'll work on the pickles themselves, and we'll come back, stir this one more. It takes a little while to dissolve the salt. That's why we're doing this first. Okay, we are all set here. The water, I've been stirring. There's still some minerals down underneath. That's the good part about this, is there's lots of minerals in there. So that's good for us. I added some spices in here just because I don't have my tripod with me. It's off in another location. So I added a half a teaspoon of dill seed and a half a teaspoon of whole peppercorns, not crushed, but whole. And I added 1 full tablespoon of mustard seed and a full tablespoon of dill leaves, dried dill or freeze-dried dill, whatever you call it. I would have preferred to use all dill seed, but I didn't have enough. I only had just a little bit left here and not enough to do for everything I'm doing here. So I improvised. Next up is bay leaves. So each one of the quart jars gets 2 bay leaves dropped in, and each one gets whole cloves, and it should be 4, but these are kind of small, so I added a couple here and there based on size. So some of these are very big and some of them are small. So they go in, and that's it for the spices. So shove all this aside and pull these up front. And now we add the pickles on top. And actually, I'm going to end up spilling this all over, holding the camera while I'm doing this. So let me go ahead and I will fill it up to about this point. I just did one last stir on the brine here. I have the pickles up to giving me about an inch and a half of headspace here. And what I'm going to do is fill up right up to the top, leaving just a little bit up, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then same with this. Now, what we want is for the pickles to be under the brine solution. So I have 2 ways to do that here. Let me show this one. I already did 2 batches back here, and I don't know what this is called, a nipple thing. I'll have it in the show notes, the description of the video, where you can order this from Amazon as well as the weights here. But this is just a glass weight with kind of a handle on it here that allows you to pick it up and put it down in there. And then what I want is the water to be just above that. There we go. That gives me just a little bit of headspace there. Shake it around a little bit, and then I will put this on along with the ring around it so it looks like this. And this right here has, you can see the hole in it. So it allows gas to escape via the pressure, but it does not allow mold or anything else to get in. So it allows it to ferment and do its thing without mixing all kinds of nasty stuff down under. Now this one works a little different. This one sets in here and it's spring loaded and it kind of pushes it down. So I actually need to fill this one up a little bit more before I do anything. Right about there. So that gives me about a 1/2 inch under. This particular lid comes with this top here. It's by ball, and this one is hard that will hold the spring down. And then again, I have a little valve here that will let gas escape, but not allow anything to go in. So can't do this with just one hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. I'll show it to you after the fact here. After you have these all set, they will burp and send up a little bit of liquid. And that's why I have the saucers on here, so I don't get liquid all over the counter. So the two that I did today, this is one and this would be the other here, and they are good to go. And the leftover brine I put into a jar here. I'll put this in the fridge, and as this goes on, there may be a little evaporation or something, and I may need to add that, so I have the brine if I need it. If everything's said and done, once I put the final cap on these, and if I don't need it, I'll just discard the brine. So let's talk about the process here. So these will have this set up on for anywhere from 5 to 10 days. So a week on average. It depends on how sour you like it. The longer it's left in here like this, the more sour it will be. So if you like sour, you'll be more on the 10-day spectrum. If you like it more crunchy and less sour, then you'll be closer to the 5-day spectrum. So you'll go ahead and taste it. And what I mean by when it's done is when we are done fermenting, we will remove the lid here. We will go ahead and replace this nipple here and this hard top here with a regular ring and top like this, and we will move it to the refrigerator. And that will not completely stop the fermentation process, but it will almost stop it, slow it down significantly. And these can set in the refrigerator for many, many months. So you can eat to your heart's content and enjoy your nice fermented food. The process of this, over the next couple days, this will start to get a little bit cloudy. You may see a little bit of white stuff up on top here. That's perfectly normal. We have been a week and I have cleaned the top off of this, went in, reached in, tried them, and they are good enough for us. So now we put a metal ring and a lid around and we move them to the refrigerator, and that will almost completely stop, not quite, but almost completely stop the fermentation process. Before I cleaned it off, it looks something like this. So you get kind of a white film on top. In most cases, I found that happens. This one over here didn't have it quite as bad, just a little bit there. And that's fine. You just go ahead and scrape it off with the spoon and go about business. If this is a pink color or a black color, or you get a really, really rancid smell when you open it up, you may want to consider discarding that. Now, this will have kind of a sauerkraut kind of smell to it. So it is the fermentation process. So it's just going to have a little bit of a smell to it, but it's not going to be absolutely rancid. So again, when it gets to the sourness that you like, go ahead and remove the glass, the top, put the ring and the lid on, move it to the refrigerator, and it is done and you are ready to eat. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in and have a great day.